Is it recording? Yeah.
Yeah, and the camera's right there,
Yeah.
so you can look at the earpiece.
All right. So Zaka with Jeremy. Hey Jeremy, how you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, you look fresh too.
Yeah, I had a really good night's sleep last night. I walked for about 10 hours, I think, yesterday, and
With me?
half of that was with you. Yeah.
Okay, all right, Jeremy. So you were a teacher to the special kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
In the United States, I worked as a special education teacher for a year, and that's also what I studied in college.
So what do you think? What we should do to the special kids students? How do they have a term for it other than we use special kids?
Okay, so we usually call them students with learning differences
Okay.
or students with a disability. That's called person first language.
Alright.
You don't want to say that person's autistic. You say that person has autism.
All right. What about you? You yourself experienced while growing up.
Oh yeah, I had a number of disabilities. I was a special ed student as well.
But what is it? Autism or what is it?
Well, autism is a type of spectrum disorder, and
Okay.
it's
So what do you have? I mean, are you still having it or?
well, I never got diagnosed with it.
Okay.
We think
Then
that
how do you know that you're autistic?
Well, I never said that I was.
Okay.
I have disabilities in reading and writing and such. There was suspicion that I had it, but we decided not to get me tested. I think you're falling out of the picture here.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I want only you in the picture.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
So, autism is basically somebody's brain that is wired differently. So if a normal person
Excuse me a
processes...
second.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. Hello? Hello? Ah. Beli 2-3 buku. 2-3 buku beli lah. Okay. Okay, right. My mother. Okay, alright,
Okay.
continue. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about education to these special needs. Should we use children or students right now?
Either
Learning
one works.
who has learning difficulties, yeah? Because in Malaysia we still don't have that kind of I think. So what do you think we should do? Or maybe to the parents who think their kids have the learning difficulties, but they still send their kids to the normal school. So what we should do to this kind of parents?
Well,
I mean, they don't have any choice, so they have to send their kids to the normal school, but or maybe they have to go to extra classes after that.
Well, yeah, that's actually the key is the parents. It's all the powers in the parents. In the United States, special people also did not have any rights or anything.
Yeah.
So what the parents did was they went to court and they started suing the schools.
How?
Well, there's I forgot what the name of the law is, but there's a special law that says every person will have a free and appropriate education, whether they're white, black, or Hispanic, whatever. And so the parents said, my child has a disability. They also need a free and fair and appropriate education. So, because a black person is allowed to be educated, so is a person with a learning difference.
Sure, yeah.
So that was how they battled it in court. And
Okay.
it
How
went...
do you compare this to the black people? It sounds racist now.
Well,
Explain.
Yes, America had a lot of racism. So
Yeah, yeah.
originally, white people would be taught at one school, and black people would be taught at another school. And the black schools would not get any funding, and black people were not allowed to go to the white schools.
Okay.
That was when that law was put into place, a free and a fair and appropriate education. So with that law in place, black people and white people started going to school together. So the parents said, if a black person can study with a white person, so can a person with a disability.
But you know, this like student with the learning difficulties, they cannot mingle around with the normal people. Or normal kids, because normal kids learn faster than them. So how do we do this?
That is a tough thing. A lot of students with special needs and are in special education, a lot of them do not have the same social circles.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But-
What about you? I mean, your own experience of dealing with.
Oh yeah, well,
Other than you were bullied.
I was bullied pretty bad, and the
Yeah.
students I worked with were also bullied really badly. There were a couple of them that were the cool kids though. So
What kind of approach do you use? Like if you found your students being bullied, do you go there, you ask them to fight, or?
it depends on what's going on. Most of the time, I'll turn a blind eye because it's part of growing up. If it's just a little thing, but
Oh,
if,
so
it's,
you
if
let
it
it go.
starts to be a big thing, as soon as it starts to be a big thing, I step in immediately. And
But right now you have to give you as a teacher.
Well, you have to be careful about how much you step in, because if you step in for
yeah,
every little
true.
bullying situation,
Yeah, that's so true,
the
yeah.
bully will have more motivation to try to hurt the kid.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is for the children to look out for each other. And also bully awareness is also important. So as a teacher, I would teach the students about bullies and depression, suicide, these sort of issues. And the initiative I was trying to take was trying to lead students to helping out the students and protecting each other.
Tell us a bit of your experience.
Probably the
The
most,
one that you really cannot forget, but you're still struggling with it. Yeah.
for bullying, there was one case where we were on a school trip. We were in Navy Pier in downtown Chicago, and one of my special needs students had a hat on that he really liked. It was one of the $100 hats or whatever. And so one of the other kids who was really tall came over and ripped it off his head and started hanging it above his head.
For what reason?
Just to bully him. And I was the only teacher there because the other teachers were, I don't know where they were actually. I was the only teacher watching the students. So I went over, I tried to let it slide for 20, 30 seconds, but it wasn't ending. So I went over there and I confronted the student. I said, give it back to him. And the student told me, the teacher, no. And he glared at me. And then I stood there and I stood him down. And all the students started to make a huge circle around us. And they started yelling at the student, stop it, give it back, don't do this. And then a few of the students ran and found some of the other teachers. And the student that was being the bully, he was getting ready to hit me in the head. Actually,
Why?
because he didn't like being talked to that way by a male. A lot of these students come from abused families where the father will
So
hurt
does
the
that
children a lot.
related to their symptoms that they're having?
That was not a special needs student. That was just a kid with a rough background.
Okay.
And a kid that needed a lot of love and support, but was trying to pull the tough guy act and used anger as a way to
Okay.
make it through life, which
Yeah.
honestly is a survival skill, because in these neighborhoods, a lot of these kids will, once they get into high school, they walk around with a gun to protect themselves or to continue gang activity. It's
heard
really
it.
rough.
Yeah, totally. All right, okay. So thank you so much about that. What about the one we talked yesterday about this all the all around like native speakers of English going in Japan, Korea, Malaysia. So they become as teachers. So what do you think about that? Do they really reliable as a teacher? What is your view on that?
Okay.
What so many people are worshipping this native speaker just because they can speak English, not just because they know how to teach. And then there's so many people who try to teach English, but they don't get qualified teaching.
All right. In Japan, I sat in on a couple of English teachers teaching English at the university level who had master's degrees.
Okay.
And these people had a master's degree in linguistics and education of
That's
foreigners.
different. This the
Yes,
one who
those
just,
were good teachers.
Yeah, those were good teachers.
And I was very impressed by them, and they were very inspiring. On the flip side,
Yes.
I have been to the English academies that take place after school in Korea. And the teachers there, they're tall, and they look like they could be a model.
So they use
They don't know how to teach, though.
Yeah, they don't know how to teach, but they still got hired. So what do you say about that? It's still the same issues happening here, I guess.
Well, the system that a lot of countries in Asia, I think, are trying to put
Who
together.
to be blamed first? Who to be blamed?
Who to blame?
Yeah.
Blame the people hiring them. They wouldn't have a job if someone wasn't hiring them. Granted, there are a few. I did sit in on one hagwon, and the teacher, she was fantastic. She was literally a natural teacher. But the rest of the teachers that sat in on hagwon, the after-night school in Korea, they just weren't really sure what they were doing there, except having fun in another country. So these programs are set up to incentivize Western people to come over. Say, come over here, you'll have a fun life with nice pay and free accommodation. So if you want to solve the
this
issue,
trend?
the only way to solve that is to hire different people, and you have to make a different type of investment, is what I think.
Yeah.
Or if you do keep these people, maybe you could create a training program and a system to say you will be out in a few weeks if you do not meet these requirements. There has to be certain standards that has to be followed or met. But it's I think it's up to the locals to put that in place.
Totally, yeah, right. But as you say, people are worshiping these Westerners. But
Yeah,
the truth is,
I feel like a celebrity sometimes. I mean,
I'm sorry.
no offense, but even you took me out all over the place yesterday.
I'm sorry, I didn't treat you as a celebrity as much. I made you walk.
That's true. You We walked a lot yesterday.
I'm just assisting you walk to the direction and the lunch.
I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure when I'll be in the US, you're gonna treat me as a celebrity as well.
As long as you come over to the area I'm at.
Okay, alright. So
Houston, Texas.
Anything else you want to say about teaching special kids students or whatever?
I think that's about it. It's just up to the parents.
Yeah.
You guys have your own rights that you can fight for your children, and you guys have the power to change the government, just like many other countries have.
Well, we're talking about Malaysia now, Germany.
If half the population rallied, I think you would get it done.
Okay. One travel tips.
What?
Travel tips. One travel tips that everybody must have.
Pack light.
I cannot. I have to get my trench coat on, my jacket, my sunscreen and everything. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Anything you want to say?
I think that's about it. Thank you again for the time here.
Anytime. Do you like being in Kuala Lumpur?
It was fun. And you should come over to Houston, man.
Anytime. Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Later.
Yeah.